There we go. Yay, we're here finally.
Yeah. Good afternoon, folks.
Took some trouble and time to get on today. That YouTube didn't want to let us in.
YouTube doesn't like us.
I think you're right.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. Welcome.
And all other earthlings.
Yeah, and anybody else who happens to be here.
Like Howie says, greetings, earthlings.
Yeah.
We have one who's joined us.
Who knows? We could have all kinds of aliens watching us, you know.
You never know. Tell you what, as much trouble as we had getting on this time, I was beginning to wonder if we were.
Yeah, well, we made it.
Oops, whoever it was disappeared.
Well, thanks for coming by.
Maybe they were not earthlings.
Yeah.
We'll just hang out and wait for a few minutes and see if anybody does show up. I hope it doesn't, the first try doesn't confuse folks, you know?
Well, I don't know whether that first one would have sent out a message yet or not, because it never did connect.
Well, hello, Susie. Good to see you.
Hey, how you doing?
Kevin, too. Great to see you guys.
Hi, Kevin.
I'm glad you showed up, Susie. It's good to see you.
Been kind of a strange couple of days trying to keep an eye on hurricanes and stuff. It hasn't touched us, by the way. We haven't even gotten any rain out of it, which I'd hope we would, because we could really use it. Ground's getting pretty dry around here. But it did hit pretty hard for a lot of folks. Of course, most of you who know Kate and myself know the Broussards as well, and they
hi, Joshua.
Were right in the path. But good Lord willing, they seem to have gotten through it okay. So
yeah, he definitely took care of the Broussards. They had very little damage.
Yep,
Most all of it was cosmetic and easy to take care of.
We're all very grateful.
Thank you, Joshua.
For the kindnesses that have been shown by the Lord to those we know and love that have remained relatively untouched by this latest hurricane. Whoever had twin hurricanes for August definitely wins the prize this year. For just seems like one more disaster after another here in 2020. It's been a strange year, folks. Strange year. Started off bad for me way back in January whenever I went in the hospital for a few days, and it hasn't gotten any better since. So this has been a real strange year right from the get-go. Thing was, I think everybody had, high hopes for 2020, just thinking this was going to be a good year. Okay, let's see.
Josh, I am sorry about what happened last week. I hope it doesn't happen again, but please do understand that Happy is an excellent moderator, and sometimes he makes decisions that surprise me. So please don't go away. Keep coming back. Let's see. Kevin says that the hurricane went right by them, 150 miles to the west. Property had some strong winds off the first storm, but Laura was far enough west that no weather at all. Hi, Happy. Good to see you.
How you doing? Launching the hopefully SN6 hop today as well.
What is an SN6 hop, Happy?
I don't know what
Hi,
that
Ellie.
is. Well, thank you, Josh. Appreciate that.
Yes, we do.
I tell you, we, Kate puts quite a bit of effort into making the videos that she does make, and then I do my best to make them presentable. Oh, SpaceX, is that going up again today, or
is it already up there? I'm not just watching.
I haven't been following that lately. I've had other things on my mind, I guess, but I try to tend to follow what passes for our space program nowadays. But anyway, it's another Sunday in paradise, so we're good to go.
And in Texas too.
We're good to go.
Kevin didn't know either, so we're not the only ones in the dark.
Yep.
We live in the two brightest states in the Union, Florida and Texas, and we're in the dark.
Well, I've been in the dark for a long time.
I accused someone just recently of thinking I was a mushroom.
No, it's going to be another quiet day here. I got.
Today from Florida and the Starship from Boca Chica, Texas. At the
Oh,
space
wow. We got, I don't know how I missed that, Happy. I usually watch that stuff fairly close, but.
Wonder where Boca Chica is, do you know? Is that near Houston somewhere?
Don't know. No idea.
Happy, do you know where Boca Chica is? It's in someplace I've never heard of before.
The guys are being quiet so far.
Helping hubby coat the camper roof this afternoon. Oh, 150-meter hop by SN6 from Brownsville. Okay.
Okay.
Push the Canaveral launch to September 1st. Ah. Well, that's not that far away. It's only day after tomorrow.
The beginning of dove season here in Texas.
Unfortunately.
My least favorite time of the year.
If Amy Broussard comes in today, guys, wish her a happy birthday. Today's her birthday, so I've already sent her a message, but I think it'd be a lot of fun if we all wished her happy birthday when she got here. I've heard of Bocas de la Torre in Mexico.
Actually, I wouldn't count on either one of them popping in today.
Oh, I'm not, but if they do. We don't know if they even have electricity yet. 2 launches today in Florida. Ah,
that's interesting. I'm going to have to go read my paper today, I guess.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it yet. I got up.
Thank you, Michelle.
Not too long ago. But other than that, for us here anyway, it's been a relatively quiet week. Mm-hmm. Kate got wounded pretty bad by one of our birds. If you want to, she's got her hand wrapped in ice still, and it's now probably at least 4 or 5 days after it happened, I think. But it was one of those accidents where your hand ends up getting in the way of a very scared bird.
Yeah.
She got nailed pretty good.
I had Carib on my shoulder, and I was trying to get cages ready to put them all to bed. And Gandhi reached in and reached out of the cage and grabbed Carib. Carib almost fell off my shoulder, and when he did, he freaked out. I tried to reach back and catch him, and when I did, he tried to catch me with his beak and grabbed and got me really good in 3 different places.
Crunched her pretty good.
And it's still pretty swollen, and I'm keeping ice on it so that it's not too uncomfortable. But, oh well.
About 99% of the time, whenever we get nailed by one of our birds, it's our own fault.
Right.
Or it's just a straight-up accident. But,
well, Joshua, this is Big Birds, and David and I have a saying that we tell anyone we hear of that is interested in having big birds, and that is, if you're going to have a big bird, you might as well make up your mind from the beginning. You're going to bleed.
Yep.
Because big birds, you get bit. It's not anything they necessarily try to do. It's not that they're mean or bad birds. It's just they have no hands, so they can't grab anything except by their feet and their beaks.
And it's their primary defense.
Right. And they just...
And anytime they get,
hurt or scared.
Ticked off, hurt, scared, surprised, startled, things of that sort. It's just instinct. That's all it is.
Yeah. In this case, I was trying to catch Carib so he wouldn't fall off my shoulder. Hi, Iris. Reached back with my hand, and I ended up getting bit 3 times. I finally got him back up on my shoulder, but in the meantime, I'm bleeding all over myself and the floor and everything else.
It's probably been about a year ago, but Carib nailed me and literally severed a vein in my hand. Yeah. And that one that one was bleeding like gangbusters from the get-go. Yeah. And the thing was, it wasn't that bad a wound, but it severed a vein. And that'll get your attention, I'll tell you that.
The biggest problem with mine, the wound itself on the outside, the skin is healed pretty much completely. But he got in there and gave me some pretty bad bone bruises.
Yeah,
and
crunched her real good. And
the swelling is still really bad on my hands, and that's my problem. Hi, Lisa Johnson. Good to see you. I'm glad you're back.
Oh, you got a birthday recently too, huh, Lisa?
This is the swollen hand, and that's the unswollen hand, so that you can tell what the difference is. Don't pay any attention to all my age spots, but you can see that the finger is pretty badly swollen.
The thing is, you got to remember that macaws, now this is at the tip, right at the end of the beak, have one of the strongest bites in the animal world. And right there at the tip, they can generate about 1,500 pounds of pressure, which is enough to literally turn 2x4s into toothpicks.
And
that's
guaranteed it doesn't feel good when they get you.
and the even larger macaws, like the hyacinth macaw, can literally turn a concrete block into dust. So when you think about them being able to bite that hard, you got to show some respect for these guys. You just have to.
And what's
when
amazing,
I handle them, I try to never take my eye off of them because you never know.
And what's amazing is they have such control over those big beaks.
They do that.
I can put my finger in Gandy's mouth, literally put my finger inside his beak, and he doesn't hurt me at all. He can clean under my fingernail if I get a piece of food under there that he wants to eat. If I'm preparing food, he can get under my fingernail with his beak and get that food out of there and never hurt me, not even once. So,
to give you an idea of the finesse that they can use with those beaks, if you think about a sunflower seed, with that real tiny thin skin that's around the seed itself, not the shell, but around the seed. I have seen Carib literally strip that tiny
thin
membrane off of a sunflower seed, eat the seed, and dispose of that little covering. So,
and he and Bravo both will give them a grape, and they'll open where the stem was just a little bit, and they'll get in there and they'll eat all of it out and hand you the outside skin of this grape. They love them too.
They'll eat the inside, scoop it out, and all that kind of stuff, and what they drop is the shell or the outside of the grape with all the good stuff extracted out of it. So they have a lot of finesse.
If they're going to fall off,
it is better to do it.
Well, actually,
but human nature was to catch. It really was, because he was on her back, sort of, and started falling down her back, and it's just human nature to reach back and grab. That was.
And these guys don't really know they can fly. Gandy cannot fly. Carib and Bravo can, but they don't really know it. And so when they start to fall like that, they panic. They start trying to grab out. I panic because I know they're panicking. I try and catch them. So
it's just one of those things.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like I said, if you're going to have big birds from time to time, you're going to bleed. Yeah. That's all there is to it. But I'll tell you what, the ones that have hurt me worse have been much smaller than macaws. Yeah. One of the worst is an Amazon. Amazons will nail you in a heartbeat, and when they grab you, they hang on. They don't let go. And another one is the big cockatoos. Mm-hmm. And the shape of their beak is different on a cockatoo, and they make a much more, what would I call it, industrial bite. It really, really, really hurts. I've been bitten several times by good-sized cockatoos, and I'll take a macaw bite any day compared to a cockatoo
or an Amazon.
They'll both just. They really, really do hurt you.
Oh, 9 thumbs up and 9 folks here. Thanks, guys.
That's even really the smaller ones, like the conures, they can hurt you. I mean, even a cockatiel can hurt you, but it's not a lot.
By the way,
not a lot.
For those who saw the video that I put out on watermelon lemonade, I got some strawberries and made myself strawberry lemonade, using the same recipes and everything, just substituting strawberry instead of watermelon. And it is every bit as good, or maybe even better, because I like strawberries a lot more than I like watermelon. So if you saw that and you want to try it, it is very good.
Iris, I know cats. Yeah. I was a veterinary technician for about 16 of my 20-year Air Force career. I never got bitten by an animal while I was in the clinic, except for my own dog. And I was cleaning his teeth, so he was unconscious. And his big dog, German Shepherd, Spanish Wolf Cross, weighed about 130 pounds. He was a big boy. And I was chipping the scale off his teeth, and I had my thumb in his mouth, and there was a spasm under anesthetic, and just about crushed my thumb. It broke the nail, it pierced the nail and all that. It was the worst. It was bad. It hurt. It hurt. But he was unconscious when he did it, so I couldn't very well blame him for it. So that was my fault. Iris, I see you said your rescue cat bit you and you ended up on Augmentin. If I may ask, why was that? Because of the infection potential from cat bites are some of the dirtiest around when you get right down to it.
3 Yorkies and poodle.
Yeah, Yorkies, the little dogs are another one that'll just bite the crap out of you. And they're quick like bunnies, too. They're fast, so.
They get in and out, and before you register that you've been bitten, there's a chunk missing.
Yeah. I've always been able to read my birds pretty well. They do telegraph, and since they're so big, they're relatively slow. And you can kind of see it coming. And you don't have to get very far away. It's not like you got to jerk
like
your
this.
arm on. It's just an inch or two is all you need. So after a while, you just kind of learn where the danger zone is. And then you also learn how far back do I have to pull to get out of range.
Right.
But then there's also the times that they'll bluff you. They act like they're going to bite you, but they don't. And that's a game. I've had Kareeb literally, more or less strike at me and then pull back and literally laugh.
Office cat likes to jump under my skirt and bite me in the back of the leg when I'm leaving at night. Last year I got cellulitis from one and needed antibiotics for 2 months.
Oh, wow.
Lisa, maybe your office cat's trying to tell you that she doesn't want you to go home.
Yeah, apparently not. Yeah, go for the ankles. That must be your little dogs. Yep, Yorkies and poodles. They go for the ankles. That's very true.
Yesterday, one of our neighbors next door ended up with a pretty bad water leak. They had a water main under their property break, and we could not tell whether it was our leak, my brother's leak, or one of the 2 properties on the opposite side of the fence because the water was so deep. It was in one place that was almost a foot deep, and it was running under our driveway and over it at the same time. Well, I took Gandy on my shoulder and we went down to meet the plumber that was going to come and try and figure out whose water was out. And he was very interested in the bird because everybody that meets Gandy wants to know about him. And he's on my shoulder most of the time, so that's a lot of folks. But we went up to see what was going on. And when Gandy is afraid or when he's checking something out, instead of standing up straight like a lot of birds do, he bends forward and stretches his neck out and stares real big. We went up to the plumber, and that's what Gandy started doing. He's giving him what I call the evil eye. Apparently, the fella does not know anything about birds and really liked Gandy and was interested. He reached out like this to touch him. And the instant that he did that, Gandy backed up and got ready to strike. And I said, no, please don't reach for him. Yeah. He will bite you. But
that's one of the errors that a lot of people make. They think, oh, what a pretty little animal, yes, like it's a dog or a cat.
Yeah.
Well, they don't realize they're reaching into a set of vice grips.
Yeah. Yeah. He jerked his hand back and then stood and just looked at him. But I was real glad that Gandy did not strike immediately when he was getting ready to, because he probably would have taken the end of the guy's finger off. So
Iris, sounds like that was a pretty bad deal all the way around for you.
Yeah, Iris, I'm thinking I may have to have some medical attention on this thing. It's been since either Monday or Tuesday of last week, and although the skin has healed, it's still very sore and very swollen. So, hello, Howie. It's good to see you.
I think you got your bones got crunched a little bit in there.
Yeah, I think so too, but I may need to have it checked. YB, hello.
YB. Hello, welcome.
Glad to meet you. Welcome.
It's good to have viewers everywhere.
This is a new person. We haven't met you before, YB.
We have some folks in some very strange places.
Some very different places.
Well,
like
different. I'm not going to say strange because a lot of people think here in Texas is a strange place.
Well, I'm a native Texan, and I agree.
Yeah.
It can be a very strange place. Hello, Dee.
Hi, Dee.
Good to see you. By the way, I saw your comment on one of the videos and sent you an answer, Dee. Thank you, Howie. It's good to see you today. I'm really glad you dropped in. We were talking about you earlier. Is Ohio strange? Yeah, I think Ohio's strange. But then again, I think Texas is strange too. So
pretty much every place is strange.
Yeah. Howie, we were talking about how you greet everyone with fellow earthlings. I love that. And we did that. We were trying to get on our first attempt to get on today. And I greeted everyone with fellow earthlings. And it was I got tickled at myself for using it because it sounded kind of strange coming from me. Dee said, I got it. Thank you. What's my opinion of oven dehydrated? Dee, I have oven dehydrated quite a lot of stuff before I got my dehydrators. That was all I used, and it works very well, but you do have to keep very close watch on it because if you don't keep close watch on it, it will burn. So, yes. Hello, Julie Nelson. It's good to see you.
Idaho.
Oh.
17 days.
Congratulations.
Good for y'all.
That's wonderful. Susanna, hello.
Hi,
It's good to see you too. Oh, Julie, I'm so sorry.
Oh, my.
I'm sorry to hear that. I really am. Hello, Ecocentric. It's nice to see you. Yes, you're right, Howard. We are.
Julie, that's our condolences. Truly.
Yes.
We found out something yesterday that we didn't know whenever Kate went out to check on the water thing, that the two folks that we thought lived next door, both of them have passed away. And it was their son who is living there now, which obviously we're not in touch with them a great deal. They're, a fair distance away from us, more than a stone's throw. And it turns out that both of the people that we knew who lived there had both passed away.
One in early February and the other in middle April. And because of all the lockdowns and things, we had no idea. Oh, he had MD. My best girlfriend's daughter has myotonic MD, and she's having difficulties. MD is not fun.
Well, Julie, I guess I forgive me for saying this, but in some ways, perhaps it was a blessing. What I call severe blessings.
Yeah.
You don't. You're not necessarily grateful for them on very many levels, but in the long term, they end up being sort of a kindness.
My youngest sister, who was 9 years younger than I am, passed away in 2017. And she passed away after a long battle with cancer that started out in her liver and spread throughout her whole body. And she was one of those. We were sorry that she was gone, but at the same time, she was out of all that horrible cancer pain. So, yeah, I'm glad you'll be okay, Julie, and we will continue to pray for you. I'll borrow my hand from the ice for a minute. See if I can do this.
"48 years together, Julie. That's. I know your world has been rocked, darling. I'm sorry, but yes, it's human nature. Is we will survive. We will press on and carry on. So. Just know that we do send our sad condolences.
And your attitude towards it is a huge help. The fact that you know that you will be okay, even though you know it's hard, will help you a great deal.
Well, they say that, if you expect a death, it's supposedly easier to deal with. I'm not sure I believe in all that. But
well, I know it was when my last husband passed. because he passed away of pancreatic cancer, and we had several months to actually take the time to say goodbye and to solve some issues that we had had between each other for a lot of years. So it was good to have that time.
Yeah.
David was married over 40 years to his former wife. I was married 33 years to my former husband.
But I'm having a whole lot more fun now.
That's because I'm a silly person. Well, I figure if you're going to live, you might as well laugh.
No, bottom line, darling, it's because you have a light that shines from within, my dear.
Oh, thank you.
And I think everybody who comes to know you realizes that. But you shine. You are a bright spot in a dark place. Always.
It's just because I reflect the Lord's love. That's what makes me shine.
Yep.
Oh, thank you, Dee. He's true. He's true, Miss Kate. Well, thanks, Josh.
She is a light. She's definitely a light.
Oh. Well, I can't say any of that is because of me. It's all because of the Lord.
No, it's not. The Lord provides us with the tools. And what we do with those tools, how we use them, is what makes the difference. And you choose to use the tools that you've been given in some of the kindest ways that I've ever seen. And you can give a great deal of credit to the Lord, darling, but it's you too. So just remember.
Thank you. You're going to make me blush.
Well, I always tell her she's my sunshine, and she is. She's the light of my life. Yes, ma'am. I don't really make any bones about it. There are guys that would say, oh, yeah, she's my partner. This is my wife.
Hello, Celtic.
No, Kate is a great deal more to me than just my wife. She is my true partner, and I'm very grateful for her in my life.
And that's important to both of us because that's what I want to be, and that's what he wants me to be. Celtic, I got your recipe for the spiced pear butter, and I've got a lot of pears still to bring in, so I'll probably be making some of that.
Iris, I'm sure it is. Luckily, I've not had to go through that yet. Yep, that's right, Josh. I often think of that song when I think of Kate.
Oh, yes, I like that song. I used to sing it to my kids all the time.
Yep.
And then when they got a little older, they would harmonize with me.
So what's going on in everybody else's world today? Things are quiet here in our part of the world, and we didn't get any winds or any damage or anything at all from the hurricanes. So
not even any clouds.
Yeah, we didn't. It was a non-starter here for us. Of course,
it was a long
we're a good way inland. So, but the forecasters were saying that we could get several inches of rain, but it never did pan out. Yep. Yeah, Kevin.
I know this sounds weird, but I was sad that we didn't get any rain.
Would have liked to have gotten some rain. I really wish we could have, because this August, September is pretty darn dry here in Texas. Pretty dry.
How will you be
I'll
careful?
Take another fruit tree.
You be careful. Have a wonderful Sunday. Enjoy some of that fruit for us. And I saw the other day that you were taking some of it to the food banks. And as a former food bank recipient, thank you. Because the fresh produce that comes in there is very appreciated by those who are able to get their food through the food bank.
So, Dee, you had some tree limbs come down. That sounds like a pretty serious storm. Well, I remember some of the windstorms we used to get in Florida. Wow. You got what they call loblolly pine trees in Florida, and they're pretty tough. Now, I was up in Tallahassee, which is in the northern part of the state. And where I lived, I was surrounded by these loblolly pines.
Tomorrow, Susanna.
There were occasions there where, I mean, these trees would be going like this. I mean, they would just, and you're talking 10, 15, maybe even 20 degrees of sway. You just know they're coming down.
72 degrees at high of 78. All other days have been the upper 90s and low hundreds. Same here, Julie. It's been really hot, but I don't know what it's like here right now.
Well, 80-mile-an-hour winds, that's hurricane force. 75 is hurricane.
And Susanna, no, tomorrow is my birthday. Today is Amy Broussard's birthday.
I don't know what I'm going to do for your birthday tomorrow. I haven't. Nothing, I guess.
Tell me happy birthday. That'll make me happy.
That'd be about it.
Yeah, that'll make me happy. That's all right. Donna's taking me out to lunch. I haven't heard from either of my kids yet.
Well, it ain't your birthday yet.
Well, that's true. But usually KJ calls and tries to set up some kind of a luncheon date. Thank you, Ellie. And thank you, Dee. Hello, Annie Martin. It's good to see you. And thank you very much for the happy birthday.
Yeah, you're going to be 59 again, right?
I'm going to be 21 for the 42nd time. No, I will tell you all, I am very proud of the fact that I will be 72 tomorrow. No, I'll be 71 tomorrow.
I was going to say, wait a minute. I almost lost my copy there.
Yeah, no, I'll be 71 tomorrow. And I'm proud of that. There's a lot of folks that never make it to 71. Yeah,
I'll tell you what, getting old is a blessing.
Yes, it is.
Might not appreciate it very much sometimes, but it is a blessing.
Yeah, I don't appreciate being older when I can't move around like I should. But
Amen to that.
Oh, well.
Amen to that.
Thanks, Steve.
I'd like to have 50 over again. I was feeling really.
I'm sorry?
I would like to have 50 over again. When I was 50,
you had a good time on your 50th birthday.
Well, when I was 50, that whole 50th year, I was in good shape. I mean, just.
Yeah, you were. I spent a lot of time rubbing your shoulders and back.
I was.
Thank you, Julie.
I was a badass dude when I was 50.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yes, 50 and Fabulous definitely was who he was.
50 was a good year. And
thank you, Annie.
Who would have guessed 60? Ain't that sweet?
That is sweet. I'll tell you somebody that would surprise you if you knew, and that is my mother. My mom is 91, and she looks about 65. She really is amazing.
I don't know if I'd put her that low, but she looks a lot younger than she is.
Okay. No.
But
people guess us as sisters, not mother and daughter, all the time. Yes. They have done that. As a matter of fact, it's really funny is when I was in my mid-teens, we moved from Corpus Christi to San Antonio, both in Texas. And for the first 3 or 4 months we were in San Antonio, our neighbors thought there was just one of us. They didn't realize there were 2 people. They thought I was her or she was me or something. They thought there was just the one. So.
Oh, Dee gonna make some sauerkraut, huh? Kate tried that a couple of times. Did not work out.
No, I'm not very
Did not work out.
Oh, thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
Yes, Julie, I do treasure her. Believe me, I do. She has been my rock for all of my life.
Well, 104.
Just lost right now. Oh, I'm so sorry, Celtic. That's a shame. That's a shame.
Yeah, there's a lot more folks living to that age nowadays.
Dee, do real well with your sauerkraut.
Yeah.
And then tell me how you do it, because everything I've tried just doesn't work.
You tried what, 3 times now to make sauerkraut?
At least 3 times.
And it bombs every time.
There's some kind of a wild yeast in our area, and every time I try to make it, instead of getting sauerkraut, I get a jar full of cabbage and black mold. So it just doesn't work.
I've always told Kate that I'd eat anything she makes one time.
Not that.
I think that's where I'd draw the line. I wouldn't eat that.
Now, the very first time I tried to make sauerkraut, it turned out it didn't turn mold, and it was still sauerkraut a year later. But I did not have a specified amount of salt when I was pounding the cabbage. I would pound, and then I'd pour a little bit of salt, and then I'd pound, and I'd pour. So by the time we got ready to eat it, you had to wash the salt off in order to be able to eat it. No, Daddy Curb's recipe doesn't work for us either, and he's having problems lately doing ferments because the black mold is getting bad at his place too. So, the pantry shuffle. Oh, how fun, Annie! I turned
Kate
one
would
of my
love to do
bedrooms
that.
into a
Kate would love to do that. We have a pretty large house, bigger than what we really need, but
Yes.
It does give us quite a bit of extra space. So one of the bedrooms is actually our pantry, our main pantry, which is good because the amount of canning and dehydrating and everything else that Kate does to put up food gives us a good space to store it in. But we really need to have somebody come out and put
Organize
in some
it for me.
cabinets, and things of that sort. Kate keeps as order as best she can in there, but we've stuffed bookcases in there, and we got
Shelves
just
in the desk, closet.
everything that we can get in there to make it work. But boy, it'd be nice to have shelves all along the walls and everything. It'd be great.
I think I would need a room that's 20 by 20 with shelves all the way around and shelves standing out in the center. And then I'd probably have it filled within 6 months. So
Yeah.
I didn't think I would ever get the bedroom that we turned into a pantry full. And that's been just right at a year. And it's so full now that I have little paths between things and stacks because it's just so full. And yes, it is a working pantry. And yes, we do eat out of that pantry.
A lot.
All the
Actually,
time.
a lot. Yeah.
So
Kate doesn't just put stuff up, and we use what
Yes.
we've got in there.
Yes, Annie, it does take a lot of room and it does take very sturdy shelves. I have been very fortunate to get the
Josh, no gifts necessary other than just your goodwill toward us is about all we really need.
Hello, Dee. I'm glad you got to see us.
Hi, Dee.
Anyway, I've been very fortunate to get the metal industrial type shelving
too, Lori.
on sale.
Hi,
Hi,
Lori.
Lori. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 sets of shelves in there, and they're 5 stories high, and they're all full. And the closet is top to bottom
Yeah,
full as well.
that's full too. That's a lot of the paper products and stuff going.
No, most of the paper products are out in the garage now.
Oh, are they?
I've moved almost all of them out.
Oh, okay.
And I don't have that much in the way of canned from the grocery store food either. Most all of it is stuff that I have put in jars myself.
Well, Lori, for whatever time you are able to be here, thanks for coming by.
Yeah, we're glad you were able to.
It's not like we've never seen internet problems. So
we had trouble getting on today.
Yeah, we did. We had to take 2 shots at it today. The first time we tried, it just kept saying going live, and it never did connect. So
we just shut it down and
came back in. So yeah, you gotta love the internet.
Yep. Thanks, Lori.
Yeah, we got 17 thumbs up. That's
and
cool.
16 people. I only put 1 thumbs up. The other one has to stay under the ice.
Yeah, that pantry is of particular value. I'll put it that way. Kate uses it a lot. We eat out of it quite a bit.
I also provide food out of it for my mom and stepdad, and I take some to my brother who lives on the property with us often.
And she also gives away a lot of it to complete strangers.
To what?
To complete strangers.
Yes.
That several months ago, whenever the quarantine was just starting, the woman who is our barber, we persuaded her to come over to the house to cut our hair. Well, during the course of the visit, come to find out that, she's struggling because her shop was deserted, but she was still having to pay rent on it at that time.
And she has several children.
And she's got like
5 or 6. Anyway.
No, I think there's 3, but she got 2 more, but they're elsewhere. But anyway, she's got like 3 kids at home, something like that. And it was, getting pretty tight. So Kate got her haircut first. And while I was sitting there, Kate went in and put together, 5, 6 bags?
7.
7?
7 large
7
grocery bags.
Big bags of stuff, just shagging things out of the pantry. And we sent her on her way. So, yeah, she'll support just about anybody that needs it.
Well, That's what it's given to us for. We're not supposed to keep it to ourselves. We're supposed to share.
Celtic, I would like to have some of those restaurant shelves too. Those are great, especially the ones that are made out of stainless steel. Those would be great to have.
Kevin, I reuse the lids, but not on pressure or one bath canning. I use them for other things. For instance, when I had a large garden, I used them as row markers. I use them on anything I'm dry storing. There are all kinds of crafts out there on the internet that you can use the canning lids and
now
rings
you talk
for.
about the lids. Okay, now I was talking about the rings.
No, he's talking about the lids.
Okay, you don't reuse the
Well,
rings.
you're not supposed to re-can with a not pressure can, not water bath or pressure can.
Okay.
But you can use them for other things. A lot of the dehydrated stuff that I have, that I put in jars, I then put the reused lids on and use my food saver to vacuum pack them, and they do fine for vacuum packing. There's no problem with that at all. So
No,
the rings, oh yeah, the rings can be reused over and over again until they just look so disreputable you don't want to use them anymore. Ecocentric says, I'm hoping to get my garden and storage skills up to be able to do the same thing, support some that need it. Yeah.
Yep.
By the way, Ellie, I have an equipment closet is what I call it. It is what was supposed to be the pantry, which opens onto the kitchen. It's a tall, smallish closet, and that's where most of my small appliances go, and now I have outgrown that as well.
People would call that a pantry. I mean, it is, it's in the kitchen.
Yeah, it was supposed to be set up to be a pantry, but since we have our pantry down the hall, I use that for my equipment.
Yeah, and she's definitely run out of space for all the gear she's got now. But anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you got it, sweetheart.
I am too. I'm so pleased that we've been able to do it because it certainly makes my life easier.
Yeah, it does.
It makes preparing things easier, and it makes being able to give things away. Oh, speaking of preparing and giving things away, I have not shared with you guys. Right before the lockdown started, my brother-in-law, who lives on the property with us, and his roommate and I, the three of us, went over to Tractor Supply and bought the stuff and set up a chicken coop on their property, and we bought a bunch of chicks. Well, they have grown into full-size chickens, and they have started laying, and they are laying 18 to 20 eggs every day. Well, I went down yesterday and got 24 eggs and made 2 huge quiches. And I took one to them, and I have the other one here for us. But, it's so wonderful. The eggs farm fresh right from the chickens have such a wonderful flavor.
I had a really wicked idea last night. I said, you know what we ought to do? We should eat quiche while we're doing our live stream. Because last week, if you were here, you remember we were talking about quiche and talking about, and everybody started kind of drooling and talking about various things they'd like to eat. So my idea was, let's have quiche while we're doing our live stream on Sunday.
Josh, I have 2 KitchenAid stand mixers, and I have all kinds of attachments for them. So I know how your mom feels.
There's not a lot of things that Kate really needs in terms of, she's got a big, huge rotisserie. She's got at least 2 hot water canners, right?
Yeah, I've got 2 hot water canners. I've got several soup stock pots. I've got 2 pressure canners.
Yeah, 2 pressure canners.
I've got the large size indoor grill. I've got
big KitchenAid mixers.
I've got one of the highest powered blenders that they make. Just all kinds of stuff.
And trust me, we're not bragging about that. It's just things have come her way. A lot of this was found at estate and garage sales. Mm-hmm. A few pieces we did buy new, like her dehydrators, which now you've got, what, 3?
I have 3.
So, just things that have just kind of come our way. It's not that we go out and buy the Cadillacs and blow the money. So a lot of, like, for example, her big rotisserie cost you, what, $25, something like that?
Yes.
So, and this is one of those old, what I thought actually pretty good quality, one of those old Ronco dehydrators that would do like 4 chickens at once. So it's pretty good size, and but it makes some really good food.
Kevin, that's awesome. My mom has one of those Sunbeam stand mixers. That is really cool. And you should brag about that kind of a deal.
Ooh, got the original Pyrex bowls, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've got a
For
huge
$5.
section
Yeah, there
of
you
Pyrex.
go.
Hello, Thrifty. Good to see you. That is a super deal, Kevin. That is really wonderful. My mom wanted to give me her Sunbeam because she doesn't do much of that kind of cooking anymore. But with 2 KitchenAids and all this other stuff, I didn't have room for it. And my sister, who lives in Corpus, doesn't have one, so we've decided to put it in a box to go to her. And I've got a whole slew of Pyrex bowls and baking things and stuff like that. Most everything I get from garage sales and estate sales. I rarely pay full price for anything.
Yeah, you're right, Annie. The price of eggs has definitely gone up, hasn't it? Yep. Well, the price of everything. What was it the other day you were talking about? What we saw price gouging. What was it that we were talking about? Do you remember?
I don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let me give it some thought here and I'll think about it.
Probably some grocery item.
Probably.
That's what amazes me is now that people are having troubles and not being able to find things, suddenly their prices have gone sky high.
Yeah.
Just through the roof. I've really downsized, but I really like the old cookware, including cast iron.
Cast iron's great. We have a lot of cast iron, but that's mainly because of our birds.
Yeah.
We have...
And the stainless steel
Pretty
cookware that I have is not
it's not coated.
not coated at all.
Anything that's got nonstick on it,
Can't
I don't
use
care
it on
what kind it is deadly to birds. So we don't have much of anything at all.
I will be right back.
I think we may have one piece of
No, I got rid of it.
no, did you?
Yeah.
But the stories that I've heard over the years about Teflon that's overheated and killed birds are just awful, and it's a terrible death for them. And there's no cure, there's no treatment. It just kills them. Annie, we have 3 large macaws, big ones, big blue and golds, and you might hear bells ringing in the background. That's them. They're still in their cages right now. Normally they would be out this time of day, but when we do our live stream, if we open the cages, then they all come wandering over here and kind of getting away.
Just so you guys know, I'm not bragging. There is my ham and cheese quiche.
All right. I'd like to have some of that for lunch, darling.
Yes, we will.
Que bien. Que bien.
It's got ham and bacon and several different kinds of cheeses and just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, Kevin, because I'll tell you what.
Thank you.
In another life, when I was back in Florida, I was very closely involved with a good-sized bird club, and I heard some awful stories about birds that succumbed to Teflon poisoning. And the thing is, DuPont knew about it. They knew it killed birds for years before they let it be known.
And the way I feel, if it's bad for birds, it can't be good for people.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it too. So,
Annie used to raise cockatoos, and she had a green wing.
green wings. I love green wings. They're so beautiful. I almost had one. If I'd have got it, it would have been a baby. The guy sold it out from under me. I didn't move fast enough on it, and he sold it to somebody else.
What were you doing sitting on it that he pulled it out from under you? Poor little bird.
No, Kevin, that's very true. I mean, when I started finding out how bad those
Take care, Celtic.
tetrafluorocarbons were for critters, then I started thinking about they can't be very good for me either. So that was just more of my impetus to get Teflon out of my life. So I did that.
Josh, I've been buying
Wow.
farm fresh eggs from folks around here for quite a while, and I usually will buy eggs, duck eggs and chicken eggs. And most of the time, my duck eggs are between $5 and $6 a dozen. So, yeah, I'm used to paying high too, but you get quality eggs, and they're usually big enough that one egg is plenty. So our milk is between $3.50 and $3.65.
Celtic, you take care. Go strap things down for that thunderstorm.
Yes. Stay inside and stay dry. So Ruth's getting her fork ready.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Milk is $30.50.
Is it $30.50 or is it $3.50? Was that a typo? $4.50 for a dozen eggs is pretty standard here if you're buying them from a farmer.
Then Kate picked up 2 dozen yesterday for nothing. So
yes.
Her Ron, who is our brother-in-law, he kind of manages the chickens, and we're starting to get some eggs out of them puppies now. So it's
no, those are chickies, not puppies.
True. I understand that point.
Puppies don't give eggs. I thought it was a typo.
I was going to say $30 for.
Yeah, I thought
that's a little steep. The thing is, we'd probably still have to have it, even if it was that price. We'd have to pay it.
Yeah.
That's the rub of it. There is they take the things that we know that we have to have, and they can price it wherever they want, and we still have to figure out some way to buy it.
What was it? Our flavored creamers.
Have those gone up a lot?
Yeah. We used to be able to buy a 1-quart flavored creamer for $2.50 and a 2-quart, a big 2-quart for $4. Now the 1-quart is $4.50 and the big ones are $6.75. So yeah.
Maybe I need to go back to half and half. It's good coffee today too, by the way.
Thank you. Farm eggs in Florida run a couple of bucks for a dozen. Huge difference compared to store-bought. I agree, it is a huge difference. Julie, I did not know that, but then again, we don't eat out all that often, and when we do, it's generally someplace we've been eating for a long time. So we often know the manager or owner of the restaurant as well. So
yeah, I don't have anything good to say about nonstick cookware at all. Nothing.
The only good thing I have to say about it is some of those pieces make wonderful door stops.
Well, I'll tell you what, I used to, when I was doing a lot of cooking, I did have one griddle that I used. And, but luckily at that time, I either didn't have birds or all I had was just a little cockatiel that was way far away in a different part of the house. But I would use that griddle for, pancakes and eggs for breakfast.
Ken Patton family, hi.
Hi there.
Good to see you. Welcome. Delicious asparagus quiche recipe.
That sounds kind of good. I like asparagus, so yeah, that sounds kind of good.
Love that.
Oh yeah.
I've decided asparagus is definitely an
acquired taste.
An acquired taste. That's right. And I haven't acquired it. However, David likes it so much that I get them often anyway.
Yeah, just give me some asparagus and some mayonnaise. I'm a happy camper.
I have thought very seriously about making the corner of our garden into an asparagus bed. The problem is I don't garden anymore except in my big tub, so I just have to turn over a tub to it.
Yeah, for sure.
I have Granny's cast iron. Kick it once in your Yes, you will. You're right, Kevin.
The biggest piece we've got is probably, about a 12-inch skillet?
We have a 14. We have a really big 14, and I now have a 7 or a 9-inch Dutch oven that's cast iron as well.
So Josh was saying that extra large organic eggs, people who get them from only have 10 hens, and they're a rare, pure breed. Cool. So do they lay plaid eggs or what?
When we bought our chicks, they didn't sex them. They were just, you got what you got. And we bought 16 chicks total. And out of the 16, we only got 2 roosters, and one is a barred rock, and he's the handsomest rooster I think I've ever seen.
He is. He struts his stuff too, boy. He lets you know he's a nice looking bird.
And the other one, I don't know what kind it is, but he has fluffy feet. He has all these little tiny feathers on his feet, and it's really kind of cool. I like it.
Well, Julia, it's too bad that you have celiac disease, but I imagine that does govern your eating habits a whole lot.
Yeah. And Julie, I have IBSD, so I understand about celiac too.
Me, I have what's called CIS. I have what's called CIS.
Can't remember stuff?
No. Cast iron stomach.
Ah, yeah, that too. You have both kinds of CIS.
Yep, there's not much that I've run across that I can't eat.
I used to be that way. Then I had cancer and I had a gastric bypass, and the combination of the two kind of changed my inside.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, you've had some upsets to your food processing system over the years, that's for sure.
Oddly enough, I don't lose weight. I'm still sitting where I was. Actually, that's not true. I went up about 5 pounds.
I weighed this morning too, and I'm hanging in there at about 189, 190, so I'm doing okay too.
Good. Feeding you twice a day is working again, huh?
Well, do I eat twice a day now?
You do sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
The second meal is not usually a big one.
Yeah, that's true. It'll be, just something easy.
Cheese and crackers or fruit or something like that.
I'll tell you what, Annie, I know a little bit about those evil roosters. Yep, I do. Roosters can definitely be evil. When I was living over in Mobile, Alabama, years ago, my kids were real little. We had a really big backyard, and we decided to just pick up a rooster and a few hens, and ended up with like 4 hens and a rooster. And this rooster got pretty territorial. And he went after my daughter one day and stabbed her with one of his spurs.
That hurts.
That bird did not see the next dawn. He was taken out of action that day. That was a fatal mistake on his part.
That rooster that Ron has is a gorgeous, gorgeous bird. And he walks right up to me and stands right in front of me and looks at me and then crows. He looks me right square in the eye and then crows at me. But I guess he likes me because I take Gandhi down there on my shoulder, so he figures I'm a bird person.
Oh my gosh, 20 inch by 3 inch. You can lift that one by yourself?
What is this? My favorite cast iron.
A skillet.
3 inches by 3 inches deep. Whoa.
That's a big skillet.
I thought my 14-inch was big, but that's amazing.
Annie, you're right. You get a rooster that's got attitude, they definitely can be a worthy adversary.
Yes.
Like I said, that time I had a big Australian shepherd, and I sicked my shepherd on that rooster. He didn't last long.
I would just take my.
Well, he was pretty.
I'd take my cast iron.
He was protective of my kids to the nth degree anyway. So whenever I more or less sicked him on that bird, I think he took a certain amount of joy in taking him out. Yeah, that would be a storyteller, wouldn't it? That a skillet that side, kids are going to remember. Yep. Well, yeah. If
Kevin,
you can,
that's true.
If you can teach a rooster to be non-aggressive, yeah, but you're right. If they continue to be aggressive, then it's a stew pot for them.
Yeah. Well, so far, I haven't had any problem with either of those roosters. But like I said, every time I go down there, I generally have Gandhi on my shoulder, and Gandhi's bigger than both of those roosters. So, although
I tell you what, our macaws, they know who's in charge, and it's them.
Yep.
Around other animals. I mean, we've got the dog and the cat here. Neither one of them will mess with any of the birds.
Nope.
If the birds are down walking on the floor, they just give them whatever space they want, and they'll go out of their way to make sure that they're not, impeding their flow.
Yes. And what's really funny is in the bird room, I have a large amwa that David brought home from Spain, and it has an area that's about probably 1.5 feet tall underneath it, that where the bottom of the amwa doesn't come down. And Gandhi likes to get under there because it's dark and close, and he thinks that's a great place to play. So he gets under there and hides, and the dog or the cat comes walking by, and he has been known to run out from under there with his beak open and chase the dog and the cat away.
Yep.
And recently, I was vacuuming in there and came out from under the armwater to chase the vacuum away. He was going to get the vacuum. He was really ready.
They get it. They'll Gandy will come up when he's got his wings up, and he's ready. He's ready to fight.
Oh,
he's ready to go.
He's a fighter.
Yep.
They lay brown eggs.
Yep.
Yeah, those big beaks can really get your attention. Let's see. My mom used the garden house to tame a Rhode Island red rooster. It's getting caught.
Yeah, Rhode Island reds can be particularly.
Yeah,
they seem to have a particularly aggressive personality sometimes. I don't know that much about chickens, but I know Rhode Island reds have a reputation.
This is a barred rock, and he's a gorgeous, gorgeous bird.
A what?
Barred rock. It's black and white striped feathers.
Okay.
And then his comb and his wattle are just this brilliant crimson red. They're just gorgeous, and he's so healthy looking. He's just a beautiful, beautiful bird. Of course, I like him because he comes up and talks to me and doesn't try and give me problems.
Kate, everything tries to talk to you. The rocks talk to you.
I have been accused of trying to mother fire plugs, so that doesn't surprise me. Oh, 320 Homestead. Hey,
hi
good
there.
To see you. Welcome.
Coming
I
in
don't
right
think you've
toward
been
the
here
end.
before. Kevin thinks that's funny too.
Yeah, I tell you what, Kate's got talents that the world don't know about.
It's probably a good thing. Oh, goodness. Well, I just try and live by what I believe, and that is that kindness is the first thing everyone should receive from everyone else. Have you 320? I'm sorry.
I'll tell you what, Kate, you're living in the wrong century nowadays.
Well, I know that, but hey, it works for me.
You know, that's one of the things that I'm having the most trouble understanding.
Oh, okay.
Is how mean everybody is getting nowadays.
Right.
Just how mean and mean-spirited. Unwilling to well, never mind. I'm better off not going there.
Annie, my brother, ended up taking the two roosters out of the pen with the hens because they were starting to really tear up the hens. And Ron just couldn't deal with it. Just could not deal with it. He didn't like the fact that they were getting all of their feathers on their back pulled out. And he didn't like the fact that when he mounted the birds, he would pull their combs and that kind of stuff. So he got rid of both males, put them outside of the chicken coop.
320, I'm not sure that it's hate in the heart. I'm beginning to think that it's an acquired attitude that once people see that meanness works, then they adopt it and it becomes part of their own presentation. They're seeing such terrible behavior on the part of our leaders, and they're beginning to say, well, if they can act like that, so can I. And as a result, we're seeing a breakdown of what I call just basic social skills. Let's see. The President of the United States, there's this group that keeps track of his lies. Over 10,000 lies in a little over 3 years. So why should anyone else tell the truth? The president gets away with it every day.
He is a politician, and 10,000 lies in less than 10 years is pretty good, actually.
You know, we used to have a standard even for our politicians that you could lie about certain things, but you didn't lie about other certain things. And nowadays, there's no line. There's no distinction. They can lie about anything. Yeah. And they can paint any kind of picture they want.
A lot of that's because no one has conscience anymore.
Yeah, and a lot of people, you're right, Cam Patton, that they're feeling powerless and they're striking out. That's very true. And Annie, unhappy, that's putting it mildly, I do believe. I think people right now, at some depth in their soul, we're miserable. We are miserable. This is not the way we're supposed to live. And I think that it's messing with the psyches of a lot of people. And these are the people that, normally they would not be violent. And nowadays they're out there demonstrating in the streets and throwing rocks and, kicking ass and taking names. They're Our social fabric is breaking down, and it is very, very sad to see. I don't know that there's going to be any hope of it coming back to anything toward the center. I'm not going to try to predict who may win this next election, but I have my hopes. We need to get rid of the negativism that surrounds our national identity right now.
Kevin says.
No, I didn't.
Good will always defeat evil. A good person will defend his God-given rights.
But I'll tell you what, if they're just buried by the evil, no one hears them. And right now we're being buried. Those few voices that do try to rise in righteous protest, they're being drowned out, called liars, and shouted down.
Me too, Annie.
I too, Annie. I don't let it control me either. But I'm not out there in the world nearly as much as most everybody else is. I go out literally none. I'm pretty much housebound, so I can hold my center a little better maybe than most people can.
I agree.
I don't have to deal with it, but it's an awful time right now. Just awful.
Kevin says David is called a silent majority.
No, I wish.
Yeah, really.
I wish.
Michelle, I agree with you. It is all in God's hands.
It's all in God's hands. But I'll tell you, He did give us free will and determination. So it's kind of what we do with it. And we're making a lot of mistakes on a national basis. Yep. And I don't, it depends on what happens here in the next 6 months. But anyway, I got off my soapbox for today.
Okay.
As a matter of fact,
we'll have to tell Amy you made it on your soapbox and off again before.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's all right, darling. You're allowed to get on your soapbox.
Yeah, well.
At least I allow you to.
There are some things that just pierce me to my heart, and I find it very difficult to remain quiet about it. But at the same time, I don't say like online. I say virtually nothing online anymore about the state that we're in because I took so much flack for it. I just, there were, people hit me in between the eyes with stupidity. And I really dislike stupidity.
I agree, Kevin. Absolutely.
Yeah, you're right. History is not taught anymore. And if we don't listen to history, we are literally forced to repeat it. But I can't think of another time in American history where we've had such a screwed up national personality. We've never had such a bad image of our national personhood. In other words, if you present the United States of America as an entity, there's a personality, there's a presence. And right now, that personality and that presence, forgive me, it's screwed up. It's just plain screwed up.
You see what Kim Hatton says? Ben Franklin had it right. We should outlaw professional politicians and only allow statesmen who work for free and only for 2 terms.
Now, term limits would help a lot.
Now we have nothing but professional politicians that I call Demorants.
Yeah, I tend to call them Republicans.
Rob Buchanans.
Yeah.
Those are great names. I like that.
Yep. I'll tell you, it's a sad state of affairs. If we were to just literally, if we were to clean house and say, okay, if you're in office now, you're out. We're going to start from scratch. It wouldn't be any better. It might initially, because a lot of people with some ideals would try to jump in there, but they would become corrupted too. So, it's like, what is it they say? Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yep.
Yep. And that's the way it is. And on that note, at 2:11, I am going to punch out, ladies and gentlemen. I've had my say for the day. And I'll let Kate continue on and talk to y'all without my 2 cents worth in. So, but thank you for coming by today. It's very nice to have y'all here. It makes our Sunday. Truly does. So thank you very much. I hope everyone has a blessed week, and be safe and be careful. And we'll see y'all later.
I'm not leaving, Annie. Not for a while.
I got golf to watch. This is the BMW Championship. This is the next to last week of golf for
this season.
For the going up to the FedEx Cup. So I got to go watch my golf. So
I'm a golfer.
There are some things in this world that are important. So y'all have a good week. Love y'all. Bye-bye.
We'll see you later, darling.
Get my other leg up.
There we go. Now, one thing I would like you guys to do, and that is if you have prayer requests, because I am trying to keep a prayer request. Watching 320 says watching golf is a code word for taking a nap.
No, I'll be glued to the screen for this one.
Everybody says bye. I caught him last night supposedly watching television, but he was snoozing. But I didn't say a whole lot because he catches me doing that all the time.
Doesn't happen very often.
So if you guys have prayer requests, either personal or for people that you know, please let me know what they are, because I am starting a prayer request list. And it's not just from those here on my live stream, but on the live streams I moderate for as well. They usually have prayer requests. And I want to try and pray daily, specifically by name, for people who request prayer. So please let me know who you need prayer for or who you would like prayer for, and we'll do that. So, my friend Donna, who comes in from time to time, has a nephew who is having some health problems. And his, grandsons are yelling downstairs. Take care, Camp Hatton. Thanks for stopping in. Anyway, her nephew's name is Mingo, M-I-N-G-O, and we're asking for prayer. He's having health issues, so if y'all wouldn't mind, I'd appreciate it. 320, I myself personally need prayer fighting breast cancer still. Yes, I will definitely add that one. Having gone through that battle myself, I understand. So yes, we will put you on right now. And friend Bonnie needs prayers. You have a super week, 320, and hopefully we'll see you next Sunday. Annie, prayers for homestead testing. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know she had. I definitely will put her on there. I followed Tessie for quite a while, but I have not watched much television at all for the last couple of months, or videos other than those people who have subscribed to mine. I'm trying to get caught up so that I can support the people that support me too. So I had not seen that she lost hers, and that's a shame. I am so blessed that my mom is still alive and still doing well. She and Dad still live on their own in their own home. They still drive. They still are completely independent. Just yesterday. Thank you, Annie. That's one reason why I didn't know. I have not watched much of anything over the last couple of days. It hurts my hand too much. But that'll get better. I'm confident the Lord will get this hand straightened out in His time. Maybe He's just trying to get me settled down. Years passed in 2013 from breast cancer. You know, 320, my mom had breast cancer in 2008. I had breast cancer in 2009. We both are cancer free. So it's wonderful. 48. Let's see, 2009, I was 49. 49, 59. Yeah. So I know the feeling. And what's really weird about mine was I had gastric bypass because I had diabetes completely out of control. They couldn't do anything about it. And the doctor said, if you have gastric bypass, you will no longer have diabetes. And he was right. But 1 month to the day after having a gastric bypass, I received the diagnosis of stage 4 breast cancer involved in the lymph nodes. And I had both breasts removed and reconstructed, and I am cancer-free and have been ever since. So I went through a lot of chemo, a lot of radiation, a lot of other things, but praise God, I am well and fine and have been for 10 years now. So yeah, thank you, Annie. I appreciate it. Mom has been cancer-free as well. Hers was only stage 1, so we were very, very fortunate with her. She didn't have to do chemo or radiation or anything. They got it all with her mastectomy. And my one remaining sister does not have cancer of any kind. So we are very blessed that those of us who remain are healthy. So, okay. Anyone else have praise requests? I want to try and get all of these down that we can. Kevin, how about you? Do you need praise request as well? Or prayer request rather? And Josh, how about you? You said you needed a break to get away. Maybe we should pray for you to get to go somewhere and have a break. Got 13 people watching still, according to YouTube. So if you're still here, speak up and let us know. You're back. Hi. Do we need to pray for you to get a chance to get a break, to get away to St. Bart's? Well, I've suddenly gotten all super news. For those of you who don't know, Josh Franklin is one of our youngest subscribers. I think there's only 2 that are younger, and one is 11 and one is 13. So let's see. Thirsty Beachy, the family I've been babysitting got illegally evicted. Oh dear. Looking to get an apartment, need prayers. Okay, they are on the list. Josh, are y'all going via air or train or bus or car? How are you getting wherever it is you're going? Not that it matters. God can put travel mercies wherever, but just curious. I'm being a nosy old lady. What can I say? You're flying. Okay. We will put you down as travel mercies on the plane. Is the whole family going? Off to take care of Pretty. Annie, thank you for coming by. We really appreciate your visit, and take care of your critters, and we'll see you next week, I hope. Oh, it's next to Bermuda. Okay. We've got you.
Well, folks, it's getting on towards 2:30, and folks are kind of quieting down here, so I'm going to go ahead and close it down for today. You all have a wonderful week coming up. For those that are traveling, be safe. Everyone keep your hands clean, stay safe, stay away from folks that are ill, and try and stay well yourself. Love you. God bless you. You take care. Bye, y'all.